think the way you think.
This is nigga DeGrasse Tyson. Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just saying shit that feels right, man. Welcome.
We back, man. Tune the fork.
Another episode.
Yes, sir. I'm Life.
I'm James, and we are here.
Yep. Thank y'all again, man. Every time. Thank y'all for tuning in, checking us out, hollering back at us. That's moving us, man. We appreciate it.
It is, and it's well appreciated.
Yes, sir.
So the conversation today, I really don't know how it's going to land, where it's going to go per se.
Yeah.
But I figured that we just kind of just explore just some overall topics and then figure out try to figure out or at least discuss the deeper meaning and the connections between all of it, just in the way that we generally try to do. There's a lot of individual things going on in the world. Yep. You got the Chauvin case. You got the young brother who got shot by the police.
Dante Wright.
Yeah, Dante Wright in Minneapolis.
Down the street.
It's so much stuff now going on. It's kind of hard for me to kind of focus on one thing or another. But I think I feel attempt to do, and what I feel we do really well, at least in terms of how it impacts us, is try to get to the root of things and have conversations that touch multiple aspects of it. Because getting caught up in one specific thing, it's like the thing, right? Yeah. And we were talking about it the other day, where we've got all of these things and we've got all of these pressures to focus on things. When the thing really is just a small piece of it. And trying to find paths to the broader forces or examples of what's binding all of those things together is, kind of what I hope we can do now. Sure. During this conversation, because and I'll just start with just the fact that all this shit is exhausting, bro.
It is. And before you start, dog, I want you to continue on from there, but also understanding, man, all these things are symptoms. Like if you sick and you got a cough, that cough is just a cough, but it's a symptom of something else. So we tend to try to treat the cough, but never because treating what's really happening requires a deeper level of understanding, also way more work. So just treating a cough is where we go. And also, man, and the reality of it is, to me, is that there is a certain level of profit in all of this shit. Like, news odds and clicks and all of that. There's a certain level of that exists in all of this that I think is being overlooked. Same media that's covering Black Lives Matter rallies is the same media that portrays black men in a certain way. So there's that dichotomy that exists that is not being discussed. Go ahead.
And there was something that happened to me back during the Eric Garner joint, man, where it triggered my thought about this concept of energy and how when you look at all of the things that are going on, I feel like there is a manipulation of people's energy from an individual perspective and also from a group perspective. And there are things that we can be participating in unconsciously that helps us either dissipate that energy or kind of receive it and direct it in other ways that makes us feel better,
right,
but doesn't really necessarily lead us to solving a particular problem.
right, or even understanding the problem, which is the beginning stages of solving it.
And the problem is going to be, I think, a different thing because, no, mama, even though the problem is the same, but I think how we go about trying to address the problem will be different, because when these things are occurring in our world, they trigger something in me.
Yeah.
I have a very emotional, visceral reaction. Sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm angry,
right,
sometimes I'm confused.
Is that all things or just specific things?
About the shit that's going on with black folks.
Okay.
And I feel other aspects of people's pain or pain that's going on too. So if I see a homeless dude walking down the street, I feel a certain way about that.
Right.
But there's something about what happens when I see like what happened to George Floyd, or I see, the Dante Wright cat.
Yeah.
Or there's something about what's happening inside of me that is different than when I see like a homeless person.
Right.
And when I'm going through that, like sometimes I sit here, bro, and I cry looking at some of the stuff because it's overwhelming. And then it creates this sense of hopelessness. And I don't really know what to do. And then I go down into kind of like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And don't really understand how to get out or how to manage what's going on or what I could even do.
Right.
And so for me, that's energy.
Right.
And what do I do with that energy?
Right.
That is the most constructive, or at least what I feel is the most constructive at that time.
Right.
And this is something that I recognized during the Eric Garner thing. And what I realized I was doing back during the Eric Garner piece is that one of the places I would go to the most was social media. To post something or to share something. Because I would go into the world, I experienced this shit, and then it would build up.
Right.
And I got in the habit of going to social media to dissipate the energy. Because once I went on to social media and I did it, I would feel a little bit better for a short period of time. Or I might go to a rally or something like that. But a lot of the ways I managed the energy was through my relationship with social media and posting.
Right.
And I felt so bad about that I had to get off of social media.
Right.
And that's when I was off, and I really didn't get back on until we started doing this Tune the Fork stuff.
Right.
Because I wanted, because it was a pattern that I recognized in myself that I wasn't necessarily, it was making me feel better, but I wasn't doing anything necessarily constructive. With the energy. I was just taking it and dissipating it in a way through social media that made me feel better. And I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. I felt that too, dog. Like, it's almost like you're throwing it into a pond of, you're pouring cup into an ocean, because everybody in your circle, they sort of agree with you. So you're really not. I don't know, man. For me, I've always felt like, me saying something is just really just throwing it in the wind. It doesn't really do anything or move anything. I mean, I'm just talking to people who already know, who posting some of the same things You know what I'm saying?
How does it make you feel, though?
I've always, man, coming up in a city space, right? There was always an idea of life and death at the earliest of ages, dog. We always had a concept of you see a cat today, and tomorrow you find out that he dead. You know what I'm saying? There was always that. So I think kids who grew up in these urban environment, urban spaces, their relationship with death is a little closer because they get it earlier, right? You know, uncles, cousins, neighbors, you know, people are dropping like flies back when we was coming up. You know what I'm saying? Dude, you see, and next thing you know, he's gone. Or you hear it, or you know, all of those things. But seeing it, like actually visually seeing it on the screen, changes that dynamic. So now, over and over and over and over, so like, you know, Eric Garners and the, you know, George Floyds and the Philando Castiles and all of these dudes who were murdered on screen in front of us for us to see, dog. It makes me feel bad because I am desensitized to it, but it also affects me like, damn, that's murder. You know what I'm saying? That's someone taking someone's life in front of their kids, you know. And it is a level of helplessness that you feel, that I feel. Mm-hmm. And again, it doesn't change because you go to a rally. It doesn't for me. It doesn't change because you post something. It doesn't change because you're having conversations about it or screaming about it or marching up or whatever you do. It doesn't change what happens, and it doesn't change the fact that it can happen again.
But what do you do with the energy? So like when you feel. So are you saying that you're becoming desensitized
yes.
to the stuff that you're seeing to a point to where you almost don't even feel it?
I feel it, but it doesn't, like we're talking energy. The energy adds to the buckets of sadness that exist for all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying?
So it's not
specific. It doesn't dissipate. It doesn't, like, there's nothing that I do that sort of washes that free. You know what I'm saying? Or transfer that out into another way. Right? Mine just exists, and it always exists. Like I said, when just thinking of, I get super sad when I think of Castile cat. What happened to him, man, is the saddest shit in the world, dog. Like, that shit still, for me, when I think about it, it's fresh. You know what I'm saying? It's like traumatic. It's fresh. It's still there. And I don't feel like that there's nothing that we can do short of something really fucked up and drastic to really change that energy for me.
And so
drastic.
And I think, and that's the piece, I think.
Right.
Is what is drastic? And what does that look like? And because, and even when we're going back, because the conversation the other day with about the exploitation thing.
Right.
And taking the energy and using it for something good.
Right.
This is the piece that I think is important, because even during that conversation, we agreed that it didn't have to be anything big.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So taking that energy, but even during that segment, we said that, you know, we are all under the impression that it's this grandiose thing.
True.
That people have to do.
Yep.
And so when we're seeing these people
mm-hmm.
be treated the way that they are
mm-hmm.
and experience the things that they're experiencing,
mm-hmm.
and they hit us, because
mm-hmm.
I think a part of pain is we want to ignore pain.
Yep.
We want to put it to the side and actually see it as a bad thing.
Yeah.
But pain is really just our body or our emotions talking to us.
Right.
Giving us insight into what is already there, present in us.
Right.
And because I don't feel the same way I feel when I see a homeless person.
Right.
I feel for them,
Right.
but it ain't the same kind of pain.
Right.
It ain't the same kind of triggers.
Yeah.
And so when I see these brothers treated the way that they are, the sisters treated, the moms crying, you know, the pleas for help, the multiple posts of people saying, you know, say his name. Right. How many more times do we gotta da 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 da? I'm tired of looking at that shit, bro.
Yep.
And
me too.
And so maybe the connection that I have to that, that is specific and unique to that experience, is telling me to do something.
Right. Right.
The question is, what do I do?
Yeah.
Because it's energy.
Yeah.
These things are speaking to us through our emotions and through our feelings. And in the past, like think about the 50s and 60s, bro.
Yeah.
If you heard about some wild shit, you didn't go to social media.
Nah.
One of the first places you probably go would be the church.
Yep.
Would probably be going down to the block, go over to your boy's house. Hey man, you heard what happened to so-and-so?
Yep.
Hey man, let's go get so-and-so. And then, hey man, let's go get so-and-so. And then, hey man, let's go get so-and-so.
Yep.
And next, you taking that energy that you got from that story about that person being harmed, and then you using it to go get some other folks and to go do some shit. And the next thing you know, you might be down there wild and saying, make your move, motherfucker. We here.
Facts.
You did something with the energy.
Right.
You might have even taken the energy and been like, hey, look, let me go down to the bank and get a loan so I can go open up this spot over here so I can go create a safe space to be of service to my community, to help enable them to protect themselves. There's something that we're doing with the energy.
Yeah.
But what I felt I was doing during the Eric Garner, and it was something that I recognized, is I was taking the energy and just using it and dissipating it through social media.
Yep.
And I felt better in the same way that when the people went down in the 60s, gathered, you feel better.
Yeah.
You did something with the energy.
Yeah.
We're all doing something with the energy.
Yeah.
We're either storing it and letting it build up and turn into something else, or we're dispensing it in a way that might not necessarily be the most constructive. And so my thought about this shit now is, and that's what I was meaning when I was saying I want to bring it down to an energy level.
Right.
Because my pain is triggered in a very specific way when I see these motherfuckers getting harmed.
Yeah.
In the same way when my shit gets triggered when it got some shit to do with some kids.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what color the kid is.
Yep.
I'm triggered in a certain way.
Yep.
What am I doing with that energy? And a lot of times I think it's either paralyzing me.
Right.
Because I feel like the effort is too big, or maybe I'm not ready to sacrifice in the way that I need to sacrifice for that thing.
Right. Sometimes, dog, you just feel like when it happens so much and so often, and you've seen it, I mean, dog, all of these things that have been happening. This ain't nothing. This is something we've been experiencing, man, as long as I can remember, to a degree. And it's always the same reaction. So for me, sometimes I get frustrated and underwhelmed by the fact that, damn, we marching again. You know what I'm saying? How many windows can we break? I mean, when does that ever change anything? I mean, when does that ever, all of the bullhorn yelling and the no justice? We've been saying no justice, no peace since fucking Rodney King. That was 90 what? What? 92? You know what I'm saying? So what, for me, I'm like, what? I mean, what does that all mean? Now I can go and feel like that I can go and do something, me being me, whatever that thing is, contribute to something, give my time, give my service, maybe even try to bring people together to teach them about something, be part of some diversity group, or even bigger than that, try to be a part of a group that's with multiple people so we can all have conversations about what this shit really is and have someone else that doesn't look like me understand what's happening that might not have the same opinion that I have. You know what I'm saying? Start a dialogue in that way. I never feel like what we do is ever changing anything. Because and that makes me feel away.
And I believe it's because the way in which we dissipate the energy is manipulated.
Yes.
The minute you go out, your energy, bro, there is no value to energy.
Yeah.
It's just measured in.
You can't even measure it.
This is
right.
A GED nigga talking, bro. I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not any of that.
Oh, shit.
Right? So, disclaimer.
Right.
There's no good or bad or right or wrong energy.
Absolutely not.
So, when we're getting fed up, it benefits the system to tell you or to promote you going to go march. Or promote you to going to go wreck some shit. Because you're dissipating the energy.
That's right. That's a deep ass statement. Yes.
The energy, it's almost like after you have sex, bro, you tired as a motherfucker.
Right. And it's gone.
And it's gone.
It's all.
And you got to wait for it to build up again.
Yeah.
And so.
But then you do the same thing. So it's just, that's the cycle.
So because what we're receiving is also somebody else's energy. That motherfucking police officer, bro, had an energy that he was giving out into the world. Directed towards George Floyd. That energy was felt by a lot of motherfucking people.
In the moment and after the shit. And it's almost like every time you watch the shit, it's the same energy as if it's fresh.
So we're receiving the energy. What are we doing with it?
We just dissipate.
So this is what I'm saying. We can take that energy and do something with it. Now, there is, say that again.
We don't, go ahead, I'm gonna let you finish.
But what some of us are doing is posting. What some of us are doing is complaining. What some of us are doing, that's a way of managing the energy too. I wanna make sure that I'm clear, and there's no right or wrong way of you managing your energy.
True.
The whole purpose of me wanting to speak from this perspective is to at least shed some light on the dynamics that are taking place so that people can at least understand it from a more deeper level and try to do something different with the energy should they choose to. Because if you, again, it doesn't have to be grandiose. You could take that energy and be like, I'm going to go get strapped up. And teach my whole family how to shoot and self-defense. You could take that energy to be like, I'm going to go plant a garden. And show community people how to live off the land and teach myself how to be more self-sustaining. You could use the energy literally for anything. But because you also have to manage the energy in the same way that the energy that you're getting from them, you're also dissipating and using and you're creating or perpetuating some type of energy. So you can be just as constructive or non-constructive as the energy that you receive. You could take that shit, that you can take some quote unquote negative energy and turn that into some extremely positive shit.
Yep. Yeah.
That's actually helping people.
Yeah.
Or helping one person or helping yourself to help somebody else.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing it because if it benefits a group of people for us to dissipate the energy in non-constructive ways.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be starting a nonprofit. It doesn't have to be donating money to a movement. It could be just you trying to get some shit together in your own life.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And dog, I think you said some deep shit. You said that the way that we are conditioned to dissipate that energy benefits somebody. So there is a process. There is a allotment for a particular activity that dissipates that energy that is known not to produce anything but views, right? And clicks. That's what it's there for. And attention, because I think some people do it for their own attention, right? And nothing else. And that is the accepted, preferred, and conditioned response to all of these things. And we've been doing that since Martin Luther King in the 60s, right? We've been burning shit down, marching and doing all that shit since then. And that is the acceptable response. But it's the most destructive and unproductive response most of the time. Now, it could be, that's a heavy ass statement. Now, all of that marching and shit could be just the initial sort of release. And then after that, some people could say, okay, I marched, now I'm going to do this. Now that moved me to do this next thing, right? Mm-hmm. Some are like, I've done what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go back to, whatever the fuck I was doing before. You know what I'm saying? Some people, same thing with posts. Some people post and they feel that moves them to do something else, right? Some people don't. We can never know because there's never maybe we just don't see it, man. Maybe we are just seeing what's presented to us. So maybe we don't see the positive things that people do in their own personal lives after some shit.
So it's an individual thing, and that's why non-judgment is so important.
Right. That's why I wanted to pull it back. Right.
Because it's not to say, I'm not here to say that what anybody is doing is wrong.
Right.
I'm saying that I had a conversation with myself and about these things, and I was looking at what I was doing.
Right.
And based on my values, metrics, I wasn't doing enough shit.
Right.
So, but in terms of this conversation, I think understanding that it is all energy,
right,
and that we are being manipulated, to consume, to use our energy, and to put our energy in certain places and in certain ways. Mm-hmm. Because again, when you remove all of the color, when you remove gender, when you remove sexual orientation, all of this shit human beings created.
Yep.
This ain't no universal shit we talking about.
Absolutely.
Energy is, though.
Right.
You go to any motherfucking planet.
Right.
They understand. I don't know. These dynamics are at play.
Right.
So we're receiving energy and we're giving off energy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes our emotions point to certain aspects of ourselves to have us learn more about us.
Right.
So that we can either take some type of action, whatever the action might be. But understanding the role that we are playing, we're not individuals.
Right.
We are participating in a much bigger thing. And understanding that we have energy, our energy has value.
Yeah.
And how we put it out into the world matters.
Right.
And so when you're getting energy from somewhere, how are you putting it out?
Right.
How are you consuming that energy and what are you using it for? Because it can be a multitude of things.
Right. And the reality is, man, energy is really all you have. I mean, energy is what is the basis of all things that you do, all things that you have, all things that you can attain. But yeah, it's hard, man, because it requires a level of introspection that a lot of times we struggle with. Human beings struggle with, because we are social animals, and we want to be part of the pack. We want to be part of the group. And so we just do what everybody else does, based on where we stand on it. So if we can run around here and say Blue Lives Matter, if that's what our group says, we run around and say, march and do all that if that's what our group does. I mean, so the question is, can we create a group that does something different? That when this shit occurs, we can say, okay, guys, we're going to do this. Or what should we do? Should we do this? This is on the table. This is on the table. And we're changing the dynamic to move quietly in the direction of real fucking meaningful, different shit with our energy. And creating different, and putting all of those energies in something that creates something that drives some real change.
And I think and to the point that you're saying, some people ain't gonna understand it and some people ain't gonna get it.
Right.
And I think in terms of, can we create a group? In my mind, I'm thinking, can we create an individual? Because the individual, it starts with the individual.
Absolutely.
And that person, whoever that person is, and I think we might be the individuals who ultimately get to that point to create that group in the way that energy is created. And then when you create your group, because all our group really would be is just a group of like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
But somebody got to be the first like-minded individual.
That's what I'm saying. Like
the first individual.
Like once you decide that you're going to use that energy for something different, and part of using that energy for something different is creating something or finding like-minded, talking to people in your groups or in other groups that you can, this is what I'm thinking kind of vibe. Hey guys, this shit is crazy. This is what I'm thinking. Maybe we should, you know what I'm saying? And then that energy that you're putting out and creating this thing starts to make a synergy between all of you guys. And that's how shit happens on whatever level it happens. It could just be for y'all that just go volunteer, go do something. It ain't got to be no big ass worldwide movement. It could just be something that y'all do, you know what I'm saying, with your energy that creates a change for somebody or people.
Because what happens is we want to create community, or we don't think about that kind of stuff until something happens.
Right.
And so we'll go off and we live our lives and do what it is that we do. And a lot of it is extremely reactionary.
Right.
And we might have you know, a couple of things built in here or there. Like, because the reality, here's, expect to get fucked.
Yeah.
Expect that.
Yeah.
Expect to be mistreated.
Yeah.
Expect to be manipulated.
Yeah.
And taken advantage of. Understand that that is the world.
Yeah.
And so your role is to try to mitigate that as much as possible and to try to reduce that impact on other people's lives as much as you can.
Right.
But understanding but there's a lot of other good shit that happens too, but just understanding then that's the role.
That's part of it.
So when the police pull you over.
Right. Right.
That's a part of the.
Yep.
That's a part of the system.
Yep.
It's built in.
Yeah.
When you go to McDonald's, what you see on the menu, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff is just what we're going to get.
Yeah.
And what do we do with that knowledge? How do we understand that? Because the world that we want to live in, most of us ain't gonna be able to live in it. We're creating the foundation.
Right.
We're building the tools. We're planting the seeds for other people behind us to follow and to pick up. They're not,
right.
Because it's just not the, because what we're really talking about changing our behaviors,
yep.
Conditioning, and that is a long, arduous process that takes time.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Are we talking like, dog, I hear what you're saying. You're right. The larger thing is changing, like you said, behaviors. There's a change in hearts and minds piece to that shit, but I don't know if that's even realistic. But do you think, I mean, in order to change behaviors, there's an accountability that drives your behavior. If you know that if you do this, then this is going to happen, then you're less likely to do it. So in that sense, the accountability piece that doesn't exist, right, for dozens of reasons. Do you think that these cats go into these situations with these black people knowing that they won't be held accountable for the shit that they do? Or do you think, like, because I go back and forth between, are these motherfuckers just sociopaths?
I
That
don't,
just
bro.
like out there? Or are these motherfuckers just in the mindset that I can do this and ain't shit gonna happen to me? Or is it from situation to situation?
I think we are all living in the same world. Black people are suffering and experiencing the same level of programming that other people are.
Yeah.
So in the same way that we degrade and talk shit and demean our people,
yeah,
that's coming from the same source that's doing the same thing to other people outside of our community.
That's clean.
So we don't have to wake up every morning with a conscious decision of, I wish a motherfucker would. We can just be programmed to be like that.
Yeah.
As black people. So like you go into a club, you won't necessarily, some of us do it consciously. I used to do it consciously, but some of us be like, I wish a motherfucker would do some shit when I'm up in there. And you actually look for it. You're not looking for opportunities to try to understand and to get that person's perspective.
Right.
You looking for smoke.
Right.
And them are people who look like you. Now,
right.
Police might be programmed to do the same thing to people who look like us.
Right.
Looking for the smoke. This is just the world that we live in. When you hear about these rappers talking about shooting a nigga or doing some dumb shit to them, if they come at them crazy or they come at them sideways, they ain't talking about doing that to police. They ain't talking about doing that to somebody else. They talking about doing that to a motherfucker that look just like them. 100% disregarding that person's life, their value, and all aspects of that.
But it feels like, dog, that
we're worried about, I think our focus is on impunity, bro. And to me, that is the least significant part of it.
Interesting. Because I'm thinking like when we, and you're right, we go into these spaces, dog, and we talk shit like this, but it feels like for us a lot of times, just in my experience in dealing with people who are just like that, it feels like that that the slightest infraction to them, right, will cause them to act in a way to anyone who I wish a motherfucker would like X, Y, and Z, right? Step on my shoe. It's going to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm bringing the thunder to your ass, right? Pause. So, but that requires an infraction. A lot of times, and it requires a conscious, like, that infraction could come from anybody. If a white guy walked by, you slept on your shoes, you know what I'm saying? Or that dude, he's gonna get it too. But I feel like that these acts are aggressions. Like, these aren't necessarily you feel violated or disrespected by this guy, so now this is your response to that. Even if you're looking for the slightest, you know what I'm saying, whatever, it's almost like, you know, in some cases, you're looking for someone to prey upon. You're looking for someone to drive these aggressive actions toward. Not necessarily looking for a reaction to be able to then act. You know, and it could, again, I don't want to make it seem like, because I hate the fact that we sort of lump all this shit together. I don't think it's all lumped together. I think these are individual people with individual processes, thoughts, intentions, etc., mental health conditions. I think it's all over the place. But I'm just talking in terms of, you know, and then there's no accountability for that. No matter what your cause, your intent, no matter what all those reasons were, the accountability piece seems to be non-existent. So now, if other people in those positions want to act in the same way, they understand there's no accountability. But if they understood that there was accountability, then maybe they'll think twice.
They wouldn't.
Interesting.
They wouldn't, because the system isn't teaching. They already.
What system are we talking about?
Our society.
Okay.
All of the images and all of that kind of stuff. The stats already prove, bro, that punishment don't change behavior. Like, you don't, like, that don't change. So, and.
Who are we talking about, though? Are we talking about police officers, or are we talking about, because I'm
talking about, so in my mind, I don't even know. I used to,
because I'm gonna say this. So when there was a time, and we talked about this before, where you can go into work and say the wildest shit in the world to coworkers, you know, female coworkers. You could say some crazy shit. But there came a point to where if you do that, motherfucker, you will be fired.
But see, here's the point.
So, and then they don't do that anymore.
But the thoughts are still there, though.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about.
But the thoughts don't matter if you don't act on the thoughts.
The thoughts do matter.
No, I'm saying in terms of it's okay for you to have whatever the fuck thoughts you want.
So again, bro, it's energy. But
acting on it is what it is.
It's energy. So we're moving the energy from one area and putting it in another place. We could still be seeing women in a subjugated way.
Right.
It's just a matter of what way and where are we doing it. So, okay, I ain't gonna say that to you. I ain't gonna say wild shit to you in this way. But I'll go here and objectify you in this other way that is socially acceptable. The woman is still oppressed in some way, shape, or form. It's just a redistribution of certain things.
I understand that, dog. But what I'm saying is that, yes, that is absolutely true. But in terms of between life and death situations, if the first step for you not to kill a motherfucker is that you understand that something bad is gonna happen to you, let me rethink the shit. Then after that, now at some point you need to work on your own personal whatever's energies or whatever, or not. You're an individual who can do whatever the fuck.
But that's what. But so this is why I'm saying the puny. If my person is gone, bro, I don't give a fuck if whether or not you gonna go to jail or not.
That's clean.
If you kill my brother,
right. That's clean.
If somebody kill you, I don't give a fuck if you going to jail or not. That is the absolute least of my problems.
Right. On I'm talking as a society, but you're talking about on a personal level.
So even the crimes don't reduce these kinds of behaviors. Like the statistics show, I'm sorry, that the punishments, if we're trying to reduce death, then we've got to, the focus is on the action. And there's a thought that triggers that action that I'm talking about.
Right.
The society is producing the thought.
Yes.
And then we're judging the people for acting on the thought. These people didn't wake up devaluing black life on their own.
True.
Black men rapping and subjugating women and talking about niggas ain't shit and they looking for somebody to blow off. They didn't think of that on their own.
Right.
They live in a society that reinforces them devaluing and seeing black life less than others.
True.
So what are we gonna and what are we gonna do with them? So it's because again, in my mind, it's all coming from the same place. These people, police officers, when you a wolf, bro, you know and understand what it looks like to be a wolf.
Right.
So we have to change wolf behavior and wolf mindset. That is something that we are all participating and contributing into. We can't just sit around and say, so again, if I want to reduce death, if I want to stop slaughters,
right,
then I've got to figure out how I can stop slaughters. Just saying I'm gonna put the people in jail, that's the same way with drugs. Just saying I'm gonna put the people in jail who commit slaughters ain't gonna be stopping the people from being slaughtered. It's just gonna put the people in jail who slaughter. But it's gonna always be a motherfucker slaughtering because the system is producing slaughters. So these people are waking up sometimes in the same way when we go to the club looking for that smoke. And the person who they are looking for that smoke are the people who they perceive to have the least value. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. It's fucked up.
Right.
But black life is the least valuable in our society.
Right.
That is going to be produced in how the police officers see us. No matter how many of them motherfuckers go to jail.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is this. I think in order for you to, and I always had this mind, in order for you to murder somebody that you don't fucking know, like you've never had, or even assault.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You gotta be a wolf. You gotta be a wolf. You gotta be a wolf.
Right. It requires a mental state, right? A certain mental state. But here's the thing. A wolf is only gonna slaughter what he know he can slaughter. A wolf he doesn't go after everything that he sees. He goes after what he feels like he can slaughter. So the fact that there's a devalue of black lives or black life, right, creates a scenario, and it's devalued because the wolf knows that if I do something, there's nothing that's going. I'm good. But if he understood that, hey man, something might bite me on my ass, or it might be a problem if I came after. And I'm not necessarily talking about. I should be, but I'm not necessarily talking about a legal system process of locking these motherfuckers up. I'm talking about a sense that if I do this, there will be repercussions for the shit that I do. Right? And that will make even the motherfucking most alpha of wolves think twice about the shit.
You'll definitely
because he's not gonna go off to Georgetown and catch one of these motherfucking white cats doing lines of coke in his motherfucking sitting in his motherfucking Tesla and snatch his ass out of the car and beat the shit out of him out there in the street. That ain't gonna happen.
And I think we're saying the same thing in the same way that, so the people who are killing, I think we're saying the same thing. I just think we're focused on different parts of the, I'm not saying that they shouldn't go to jail. I want to make sure I'm 100,000% clear on that.
Right.
They should, yes.
And they should understand that.
At bare minimum.
They should understand that.
But we're talking about the thing.
Yeah.
These people are the thing.
You're right.
It's a broader piece going on.
It is.
That is not being talked about.
Right.
That police officer, I don't even like saying his fucking name. He represents something bigger.
Yes.
And so, and a part of what he represents is us. We're all in the society, bro.
Yes.
We're all participating and benefiting in some of these ways, in good and bad ways.
And subjugated.
And subjugating other people.
Absolutely.
So we just so happen to be on one end of the shit stick today.
Right.
But one of the other days we on the other end.
Right.
When I was 19, I was giving niggas work.
Right. And that's the same thing.
It's the same. It's
the same shit.
You see what I'm saying, dude?
I do.
Dog,
I see it.
It's the same. Right. It's the same thing, but it is the system that is producing these mindsets. If we, now again, I don't want to conflate this stuff, but it's unfair. It's dishonest for me as an individual to talk about one piece and not talk about the other.
Right.
Because when you really start solving the problem, you're going to also solve the problem of the quote unquote black on black shit. The same thing to make that white motherfucker think that black people ain't shit is the same thing to make black people think black people ain't shit.
That is clean.
It's the same motherfucking thing.
Yep.
So what we want to fix.
Right.
Because ain't nobody talking about just the other people. That's not fair. The media elevates the conversation about just one side. But when we're talking about really getting to the root of the problem, it's going to solve it all.
Well, the media profits from the us against them thing. So the more that they show black people against quote unquote white people or quote unquote the system, the more they can show white people against black people. So that conflict is where they motherfucking eat. That's the motherfucker frenzy that they eat in. So them taking a step back and saying, hey man, there's a broader issue here that we are a fucking part of. We are a driving force in, you know what I'm saying, in how these people how black people view themselves and how everybody views everybody. So it's not going to be televised, dog. But if we want to solve it, that's where it starts.
When it goes down to when it all boils down, it's the individual. And it's the responsibility on that person's part to do something constructive with the energy.
But dog, listen, I hear you on an individual, but a lot of times, man, we sit, and we just said it, we sit in spaces in our minds that we have no fucking idea to what's happening around us or to us or through us. We don't know at all.
So use the
how can you, unless you have a level of awakening, You're saying that from a level of awakening. Most of us, dog, don't exist in that level of awakening.
Every conversation that we talk about is from the level of awakening. We ain't even got to say that no more. Every motherfucking thing we talk about, a nigga gotta be aware.
Well, but that's where it should start. So, but it should start with an individual having an awareness.
You can use the energy to do the work to be more aware. Use the energy for something. It just, like, at some point in time, the coddling has to end. And the individual has to take responsibility to stand up straight, to take control of their life, and to do what is necessary to be a contributing member of their community. And so, yes, you don't know why, but yes, you got to figure it out.
That's clean.
Period, point blank. People need you.
That's clean.
And so you don't get to just sit up, especially when you seeing two motherfuckers like us talking. We telling you, we giving you the game. If you're not doing nothing with it, shame on you. Maybe it ain't your time. Maybe it's a seed that's gonna grow 6 years from now, 3 years from now, 2 years from now.
Right.
But we planting them.
That's the key, dog.
And so I don't want to spend, it's hard for me wanting to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what people need to, it all gonna have to go back to us. It all starts with the individual. Even when we talking about groups and all of that, I went back to the individual. So somebody has to, because again, some of this shit is looking at patterns. If you're sitting by yourself and you're talking about other people doing something and you ain't doing shit, you're a part of the problem. Use that energy to bring it back to you so that you can do something. You move, you take steps, you take action. You figure shit out. And then from that orientation, you inspire other people to do that. Because can't nobody go out and tell nobody to do shit. But I can tell you, Mr. fucking complainer, if you the one over there complaining, you are a part of the problem. I ain't gonna tell you to do shit. I'm just gonna tell you that you're a part of the problem. So all of it starts with the individual, bro. Like it all starts with somebody being, we all born from the same shit. We all fucking clueless. We all just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So,
but that can't be an excuse.
It's not an excuse, dog, but there is a, like you just said, there is an enlightenment. There is a switch that happens, right? And that switch is could be driven by a lot of things. It could be driven by us. It could be driven by someone else saying something, you know what I'm saying, that moves you in a direction to start to get that enlightenment. All I'm saying is that a lot of us walk around in the dark. So a lot of all of this shit is based on, and we walk around in the dark waiting for someone to tell us what we should do. And that shit happens a lot, dog. And I think that as we continue to move forward, as we continue to do the shit that we do, as we connect to people who do the shit that they do, that we are part of trying to bring that spark of light that then allows someone to start down that journey, down that road of enlightenment. And you're right, dog. It's nothing, you ain't say shit wrong. It starts with you and it ends with you, really. But, you know, there is a spark that happens.
And the spark is the energy.
Yes.
We're all getting energy from all of these places. Because if the universe brought you, there was something that brought you to this motherfucking video.
Right. Right.
I yell. I curse. This nigga giggles. He slaps his fucking thigh. And talks like, dog. But dog. We all. So we got different energies. But we're coming from a position of love.
Yep.
And we're talking about accountability, man.
That's it.
We're talking about owning. and being responsible for
That's
your
it.
energy and trying to do and seeing how you're using it, and then asking yourself, are you using it in the most constructive manner?
Yep.
Because if you're not, there's another way to use it.
Yep.
We can't tell you what that way is.
Yep.
Can't nobody tell you what that way is.
Yeah.
Listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Be patient. Sit still long enough, but to get some answers. Do the work, but you gotta move eventually at some point in time. You can't sit still.
That is clean, dog.
The world needs you.
Yep.
And this is the shit that is just, and the world could be your little brother.
Yeah.
Could be your niece.
Yeah.
Could be your neighbor.
Yeah.
Could be your coworker who just got fucking dumped or who just lost a parent.
Yeah.
There's somebody around you who you can pass that energy on to.
Yeah.
No matter where you got the energy from. Because we don't create the shit, we just moving it from one place to another.
And sometimes those people don't look like you. Sometimes
and again,
they don't think the way you think.
This is nigga DeGrasse Tyson. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just saying shit that feels right, man. And I'm 100% okay with changing it because I don't want to be right. I just want to be better. And the shit that I say sometimes feels right and sometimes it feels wrong. And you know,
fuck it, I'm gonna say it.
Fuck it, I'm gonna say it because it's what I feel. And ain't none of the shit that I'm saying even from me.
Right. Right.
Universe is putting all of this shit into me, man, and all of these feelings and all of these ideas and all of these perspectives. This shit ain't me. This ain't mine. When we come up with this shit, bro, this ain't ours.
Nope.
We just choosing to be a vessel for this shit.
Yep. And moving it. We just moving it.
And the same with the energy. The energy that you getting ain't yours, but you're responsible for doing something with it.
Yep.
And you just can't fucking piss it off, man. Because motherfuckers are dying, bro.
Yeah, that's real.
Motherfuckers are being treated like shit. People are in harm's way.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta fucking go in world hunger.
Yeah.
But you could go do something positive with the shit.
And motherfuckers are killing. So that's, I mean, it's the same shit, dog. It's the same shit.
Amazing grace.
You gonna sing?
How sweet.
I can't get over losing you. Isaac Hayes, man. Shout out to Isaac Hayes, man. That's
you got me going.
That's our hero, dog. I think that's our
Is he still alive, dude?
Nah, he died a while ago. Did he? Yeah. I think.
Our perspective on these things, generally speaking, from at least, and I think life shares it, but everything, there's a reality that I think we share, which is everything is connected.
Yep.
And when they're connected in a universal way. And the world forces us to look at the human pieces of it because those are the areas where you can manipulate.
Yep.
Those are the areas where you can distort, where you can just shift to just get a motherfucker to do something.
Control. Yep.
Control.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about these things, we're recognizing that this manipulation is going on and that even though we're talking about it, we still suffer from it.
Yeah.
We're human.
Yeah.
We get manipulated. We get used. We go on fucking tangents and lose it in our personal lives and not do the best and all of that. But when we sit down at this podcast, bro, and we share, it's with the intent of trying to see the underlying meaning in all of this shit in a way that's not being fed to us by social and mainstream media.
Yep. And the wholeness of it all, the oneness of it all, because we're all, dog, we all exist in this same thing. And we're all way more connected than we are separate. And there is, and like you said, there is an intent and a there are profits to be gained by the more that they can separate, and the more that we're seen as one, all of us, then the better off we be, and the less of this shit that will happen.
And my takeaway from it, and what I would inspire others to try to take away from, is the simple question is this: what are you doing with your energy? And is it the most constructive for you? Nobody gets to fucking decide that. That is a question that only you can answer. Yep. And you will be led to the path that is right for you. Yep. But you gotta move. Yep. You gotta move.
Yep. And again, dog, what we say all the time, it ain't gotta be no big ass. It could be the smallest steps, but as long as you're moving, you're moving.